I'm Michael Karagosian and president of MKPE Consulting. The company's a little over 20 years old. We've been involved in theme park development and cinema development for that 20 years. And in the last 10, 11 years, been very focused on the digital cinema space. Since 1999, when I was first introduced into digital cinema, I've been fascinated and very involved in its development.
Okay. So, what do you think are the DLP strong points in terms of the technology?
What impressed me with DLP from the very get-go was the robustness of the technology. So from the point of view that it did not require continual alignment, that you could basically set up a projector, and next time you turn it on, expect that setup to still be there. And that was, to me, what allowed digital cinema to actually move forward. My belief, and I'm not alone in this belief, is that we would not have really moved forward, the industry would not have moved forward on digital cinema had it not been for the wide impression that DLP's projectors left with people. That this technology was stable, would work in the cinema, so therefore let's work on the rest of the chain.
We know that 3D, when you have a 3D image, that because of the glasses you lose a lot of lumens from because of having to wear the glasses and all the rest of it. So how important is
brightness on the 3D image? We've done tests, actually. Living in one of the lovely things of living in LA is that we have lots of people who are interested in these things. So tests have actually been conducted through the ISDCF, Inter-Society Digital Cinema Forum, looking at different brightness levels on 3D to see where we were in our actual projection of images. Through the glasses, 4-foot Lamberts is probably about 4.5, is about as low as you really want to get. Brighter images are always nicer, and I think any projectionist would tell you the same, is that if they've been able to get to a brighter image, it's really important. It's a challenge in projectors to not so much because of the actual projector itself, but because of the other factors that you pointed to. You have glasses that attenuate light in the 3D image, and then you probably have some modulator that's encoding the light for those glasses, and then that's going to impact you on brightness. So that the goal is always to try and deliver the brightest image.
My quest is about finding out the secrets of 4K, and I've spoken to several people so far who have all been talking about the cinema experience and the importance of that experience in cinema, and the importance of the quality of the image. So what's your view on that sort of side of things?
Well, certainly quality is, we go to cinemas to get entertained, and so quality is something that we expect. It's not something we go to see. Nobody goes to see a projector. Everybody goes to see a movie and to walk away with the best, what they feel was a great experience of that movie. So in projecting a good image is really a huge part of that. It just as presenting a good sound system. In terms of quality factors of image, I always start with color. If you don't have color, you're not going to be impressed. But in terms of a hierarchical view of quality, I start with color and then contrast. Contrast being the next thing that we notice most in an image, and then resolution, and it's sort of in that order. So if I'm looking at an image on screen, the things that will pop out to me first as a viewer in terms of the entertaining value and conveyance of quality is going to be, is the color right? Is the color there on the image? And that does have to do with luminosity and such. And then the next is contrast. Is the contrast there, which is am I getting rich blacks and am I getting rich colors out of this? And so if that ability is there in the mechanism, that gives a very beautiful image. A high contrast ratio with 2K is probably probably will deliver a much better image than a low contrast ratio with 4K. And it's just because resolution is actually the next thing down that we would perceive. So you have to have all these other things in place before you're going to perceive any quality factor, to me.
Tomorrow I'm going to talk to Cinemark, who have their XD cinema screens, and hopefully I'll get to see them, which is all about movie-going experience, the premiere movie-going experience. Do you think that 4K will help that experience?
I do. The large screen experience is often coupled with immersion. So that means that you're moving the screen a little closer to the audience, you're pushing the audience a little closer in. Resolution is something that we perceive, higher resolution is something we perceive as we're closer to the screen. You don't perceive high resolution when you're far away from the screen. So you have to be more immersed and have the screen more or less closer to your eyes to really pick out resolution. So I believe resolution will be a huge factor there. And the second factor on that is that you also need the other things that I pointed out, color and contrast, but you need to be able to light that screen. And so you do need brightness, you do need luminosity to be able to do that. So you have to have a high lumens projectors and that ability to have resolution. Those two couple nicely in that kind of experience. I'm a very strong believer in that resolution is a factor in quality, but it is preceded by other factors. And so one should never lose track of all these other things. And I do think that we will see, over time, we're going to see improvements in all of these things. We're going to see wider color spaces, we're going to see higher contrast projectors, and I'll stand by what I say, that I believe that one saw 2K with high contrast, they'd be far more impressed with that than they will be with 4K and lower contrast.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure.